Hey, good morning, guys. Hope you are doing well. Back to Monday, and
Morning, sir.
yeah, very good morning. Good morning. So
Good
let's
morning,
wait.
sir.
Yeah, good morning. Let's wait for a couple more minutes. 18 folks have joined, and we'll be waiting for a few more people, and then we'll start our session today. Meanwhile, I'll be on mute. Okay. Almost all the people have joined. Let's wait for a moment, and then we'll continue our session today. Meanwhile, recap your concepts what we have discussed on Friday. We'll have some discussion on that, and then we'll go through the next concepts and the assignment that we have for today. Okay. Okay, we have all the folks who joined this session. Thanks, guys. Whoever joined recently, good morning to you, everyone. So, back to our sessions on Monday, and today, as per our plan, we thought of discussing about agile methodology and incremental. If possible, we are going to discuss about the rest of the things as well. But before going to that, we are going to have the recap session what we have discussed on Friday, and then we'll move forward with our actual session and the assignment, guys. I hope my screen is visible to you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Fine. So on Friday, we discussed about the methodologies that we have started from SDLC. So basically, we have 6 phases in SDLC. After that 6 phases, we started discussion on SDLC models. We have 8. So out of which waterfall model, prototype model, spiral model, RAD model, fish model, V model, agile model, incremental model. I didn't list down all these names what I have mentioned in the order, but I just mentioned all the names what we have under SDLC. So out of 8, we discussed about waterfall model, we discussed about spiral, we discussed about prototype, and we discussed about RAD model. So waterfall model is nothing but it's also called as a linear sequential model, where the waterfall model is going to use all the 6 phases of software development life cycle, and it is going to process in a step-by-step format, or else in a phase-by-phase format. So what is the step-by-step and what is this phase-by-phase format? Step-by-step format means the 6 phases are going to be included in waterfall model. These are going to be processed one by one. So until first phase gets completed, we will not move forward to the second phase. That's how waterfall model is going to explain. And in the same format, there are few advantages with waterfall model as well. So those advantages are it is simple and easy to develop, and the requirements will be very clear as we are going to as we are going to use this model in a step-by-step format, and we can provide the quality output to the customer as well. And investment will be very less, because the phase 1 gets completed, there is no use of that, there is no repetitive work of that until and unless if we are going to get the extra requirements from the customer. So less chances of finding out the bugs, as we are having separate testing phase and we are going to test the complete application until we finalized, until we confirm that the application testing is being done, the next phase cannot be implemented. So that's one of the main reason, less chances of finding out the bugs, as we are going to receive the clear requirements from the customer, can be used for same domain projects. It is one of the neutral point I can say, but still it can be considerable. So as clear requirements indicates that same domain projects may have the same kind of requirement. So based on the domain expertise or subject matter expertise that are available in our team, so they are going to judge whether we can go with this kind of model or easy to use or not. Output can be seen immediately after the phase gets completed. That's obvious thing what we have discussed in SDLC phases as well. So if phase 1 gets completed, the requirements cannot be in our mind, or we cannot remember all the requirements at a time. We are going to maintain a document for those requirements. So that's one of the main reason output can be seen immediately after the phase gets completed. Likewise, we are having disadvantages as well. Defects cannot be identified in the early stages. That's true. And requirement changes are not allowed. This is one of the priority 1 point, as I mentioned. That means like, sorry. Yeah, that means like we cannot change the requirements dynamically. We have to implement if the requirements are very clear. If the requirements are not clear, or if the requirements are dynamically changing, we cannot go with waterfall model. And whenever the requirements are being changed, or whenever it is to and fro process, we can say that it's a time consuming process as well. And the next one is spiral model, which can be used for long-term projects. Long-term projects in the sense which is taking more time to implement or to deliver. And the advantages of the spiral model is quality of the application is very good, because as we are having very huge amount of time and it's a long-term project. So that's one of the main reason quality of the application can be improved if we are having huge time. And even it's one of the best example I can tell you here is, so let's say if you have an application which can be tested with 10 resources in 3 months. Okay, we have 10 members in our team. All these 10 members together can test the application within 3 months. Suppose if few people are have resigned, or due to some other reasons they are on leave. Let's say five persons are on leave. Let's say 5 persons are on leave. Even though 5 people are on leave, 5 people are available in our team, right? 5 members are available in our team. That means 10 people, 10 members are taking 3 months of time, means 5 members can take 6 months of time on an average. If we are going to calculate, so if we are going to calculate, it might take 6 months, but still you have time to recruit the people, you have time to train them, you have time to give the knowledge transfer sessions to the person who joined recently. Everything can be possible as you are having very good amount of time in spiral model. Domain knowledge will be more. So as we are having a huge time, we will have an option to increase our domain knowledge on the area of expertise what we are working on, and no milestone date and time. So we will not have any specific date and time to release until we'll get instruction from the project team. Changes required at a time. So that means whatever the changes that they are going to provide, we need to deliver those changes at a time. We will not have any postponed dates, or we cannot postpone those changes to be delivered in next phase or next phase, because we don't know when the next phase is going to get released, right? So that's one of the main reason we need to provide all the changes at a time. And then more suitable for product based companies, as I mentioned, I can accept only a small percentage for this particular point, because nowadays even product based companies are not preferring this kind of things, because even they are into agile model nowadays, complete agile model. Disadvantages are time consumption, yes. More economical if we are having time, then it might be more economical. More documentation is required, not applicable for small projects. And then we discussed about prototype and RAD model. RAD means rapid action development. This can be applicable for short-term projects which can be developed and released within not more than 120 days. And small projects under same domain can be accepted under this RAD model. Advantages are the list that I have mentioned. Can be able to deliver the project in short time. Cost will be reduced. Reviews are quick, simple, and easy to understand. And these are the advantages. And disadvantages are quality of the application may be poor. I clearly explained why I have mentioned may be poor. This is 50-50 chances again. Requirements will not be clear if we don't have domain experts. This is another thing. So it's a simple thing, not much thing that we can concentrate here. Excuse me, guys. 1 second, please. So next one is prototype model. Prototype is nothing but it's simply a dummy screen. So dummy screen means it's not the original screen which is having the functionality. Dummy screen is nothing but it's a plain screen without having functionality. Simply I can say it might be an image or it might be a HTML document. So for this I have explained you the one example of mobile. Whenever we are purchasing mobile, earlier days we will have the dummy mobiles. We can see the size and shape of that particular mobile and we cannot operate it. So that is being considered as a dummy mobile. So based on that dummy mobile, we are going to decide whether we can go ahead and we can purchase that particular item or not. So that's kind of prototype. So advantage is clear requirements can be collected before starting the actual functionality development. This is how I have repeated the point as well. That means requirement collection, requirement analysis, design part is done. Once the design is done, we are going to showcase or we are going to explain that dummy screens to the customer to get some clarity whether he is expecting the same application or not. So we are going to demonstrate what we have developed on the dummy screens and we are going to explain them. If customer satisfied, then only we'll move to the development. That means before going to the development, we will have some clarity what the customer is expecting here. So that kind of clear requirements we will have in our hands before going to the development phase. Suppose whenever we are demonstrating the dummy screens to the customer, if customer not satisfied, what will happen? Again, design team has to redefine the requirements and they have to refine whatever the dummy screens that they have implemented, and again we have to demonstrate the same thing to the customer. So which is a hectic job and repetitive job that we are going to perform here. So that's one of the main reason before going to the customer environment or before going to the development phase, we will have some clear cut picture on the requirements what we need to develop. And disadvantages are cost and time. So where we need to keep on spending our time on designing the prototypes if customer is not going to satisfy, and time consumption to work on the dummy screens until customer satisfied. That's what just now I said this point. Requirements are not clear till 3 phases of SDLCs, right? So first 3 phases of SDLC, we will not have clear requirements, even though we have domain expertise. Based on the domain expertise and the experience what we are having, we are going to develop that. If customer is not satisfied, what makes sense here, right? Customer satisfaction is more important after the designing phase, and prototype designing part is one of the extra work that we have to do from the designing team perspective. Any questions so far? You can unmute your mic and you can ask me the questions if you have any. The time is 8:22. I'll be waiting till 8:25. If you have any questions, I'll clarify those things and I'll move forward to start with Azail now. Come on, guys. If you have any questions, please analyze it and let me know. fine. If I hope you don't have any questions. Let's move forward with Agile model. Okay, Agile model. So anyone have any idea on Agile model? Any inputs from your end?
Yes, sir. I mean,
Okay, what is that?
in Agile model, the client will be collaborating in every step. So we
Sorry,
can
in Agile model, client will be?
client will be involved in every step, in every phase,
Okay.
so that the requirement should be clear.
Okay. Mhm. Any other?
Product.
What is that?
And the meetings are going conducting for all the teams.
Okay, customer interaction will be there in all the phases. That's one point I can consider. Any other inputs?
The meetings were conducted. Good.
Someone said related to the product. What is that?
Product owners.
Mhm. Okay. So what are the 4 roles available in Agile model? 4 important roles that are available in Agile model. Anyone? Main important roles for Agile model. We have different designations which are available as part of company standards, but Agile model is designed when the Agile model is being designed, there are 4 specific roles which are available. Anyone? Okay. Development team. Okay. Product owner. Product manager or project manager. Stakeholder or customer. These 4 important roles are available in Agile model. Then where is QA? Under which role QA comes into? Anyone? Okay. So the companies which are following nowadays, the companies which are following pure Agile methodology, I can say it's a pure Agile. There is no concept of deviating from Agile to any other or partial Agile. No, it's a pure Agile model. The companies which are following pure Agile model will have the QA team under development team only. That means QA team is being included in development team. Sorry guys, I have a lot of disturbance today. Sorry guys, 1 second. Okay, the companies which are following pure agile methodology, as I mentioned, so the QA team includes under development team only. There is no separate concept of development team, QA team, project management team, BA team, Scrum team. No, all the teams comes under development team only. The persons or the people who involved in that project activities or the product activities, so those are all come under development team only. Next one is product owner, the person who is going to provide the requirements related to the product, the person who is going to provide the requirements related to that product. That means this product owner will have all the capability to to modify the requirements, to provide the new requirements, to provide the enhancements, to provide the change requests, and the product owner will have direct interaction with the customer association as well. Customer association will be huge with the product owner. And the next one is product manager or project manager, the person who is going to manage the complete activities what we are doing with the development team as well as the product owner team. That means the person acts like a mediator between the product team, that product owner team, product management team, as well as with the development team. And the final one is stakeholder or customer. So someone said customer will have direct interaction with the development team or direct interaction with the project team in all the phases. That's true. In agile model, one of the most important benefit is we will have direct interaction with the customer at any point of time. Even though the product owner has given some set of requirements, if we are not completely capable or reliable to understand how these requirements are going to work, and if we want to talk to the customer or if we want to see the legacy application, that means whatever the application that customer is using currently, so if we want to see that kind of data, we can interact with the customer directly. No need to wait until we get some complete information or clear information from the product team or something like that. So we can interact with the customer directly and we can get all the requirements into our place, or if you have any queries, those can be solved at a time. That's one of the most important thing that we can do with this team. Okay, so in agile model, so one of the important activity that we can do here is all the activity will come into the picture at once only. That means development team will have developers, QA team, project coordination team, Scrum team, BA team, the persons who are going to deliver the project, technical architect team, technical manager team, all these roles comes under development team only. And what is the exact thing that will happen in the agile model? So whenever we are talking about all the 6 phases in SDLC, how all the 6 phases in SDLC processed in agile model? Any idea on this? Anyone? Did you understand my question? There are 6 phases in SDLC model, right? All these 6 phases are included in agile model. How all these 6 phases are being processed? That means what is the process that we are going to follow in agile model? It's a simple question. Okay, before going to that, what are the advantages of agile model? Anyone have any idea?
It can deliver the application fast.
Okay, next one.
it has clear requirements so that we don't need to change any diagram.
And deliver the application or software. Okay. Next one.
It has clear requirements, so there will be no changes.
No. Agile model mean to be for dynamic changes. How can we say that it will have clear requirements and dynamic changes cannot be done here? Okay. Any other inputs?
Sir, quickly changes the requirement.
The dynamic changes are acceptable. I'm providing that point.
Okay.
Next. One more important point, guys. If you are aware of that process, you can let me know, or else I'll let you know. We will receive the feedback from the customer before delivering the entire project, entire application. We will receive the feedback how this is going to be possible. Okay, let's discuss about the detailed process orientation of Agile model, and then you'll be able to understand the similarities between Agile and incremental as well. Now in Agile model, what is going to happen? So observe this very carefully. One of the important point that I am telling you, how this Agile process is going to happen in the real time. And if you have any questions at any point of time, let me know. Okay, so which is a very important thing. Consider that we have 100 requirements in the application. Consider that we have 100 requirements in the application. All these 100 requirements, can we develop within a day or within a 2 or within a week? Is it possible? If each and every requirement is very big and huge functionality, if it is having, can we develop all these 100 requirements in a day or 2 or in a week? It may or may not be possible, but assume that it cannot be possible with in a week. So that's one of the main reason we have divided all these requirements into 10 parts. Module 1. Okay, 10 requirements. Okay, module 2, module 3, module 4, module 5. Let us assume that this will have different numbers. Rest of the numbers are 90, right? Okay, I can give 20, 20, 20, 30. I hope this should be fine, right? So module 1 is having 10 requirements, module 2 20, module 3 20, module 4 20, module 5 30. That means all these modules we can combine, we can say whatever the 100 requirements we have in the application, right? I hope you understand this point. Any questions? Any questions? Are you listening, or are you able to understand? At least one.
You are listening.
Sir.
Okay, fine. So
No doubt.
module, yeah. So there are total of 100 requirements in the application, out of which these 100 requirements has been segregated into 5 modules, out of which module 1 is having 10 requirements. In Agile model, what is going to happen here now? So to develop all these 10 requirements from the module 1, In Agile model, there is a term called a sprint planning. Sprint planning. Before that, what is meant by sprint? Sprint is nothing but the activity which is being planned with respect to the time duration. We will have some set of time duration. Within that duration only, we need to develop all the requirements which are defined in that particular sprint. The process of planning activity which can be performed with specific time duration. Most of the companies are following 2 weeks time duration. There are few which are following 3 weeks. That means for 2 weeks, there are few set of developers. I can say around 5 or 10 developers will be there. Those 5 to 10 developers will be assigned with all these 10 requirements, and they are going to develop all the 10 requirements within that 2 week span of time. Within 2 week span of time. That's called sprint planning. The process of planning activity which can be performed with specific time duration. That means within this particular sprint, we need to develop all the 10 requirements. And there are few more terms. First, I'll go with a positive side here, and then we'll come back and then we'll explain you a few more terminologies. Let us assume that there is a sprint planning which is having 10 requirements, and we need to develop all these 10 requirements at a time. Assume that all 10 are completed now. Okay, 2 weeks completed. After this 2 weeks gets completed, we have all the 10 requirements in place which are being developed, and there are no pending requirements here. And there are no pending requirements to develop here. What is the next step that we are going to have? Okay, before going to discuss about the next step, first we will discuss about these 10 requirements related to the software development life cycle phases. So initial 10 requirements are being planned in this particular sprint. First, we will start with requirement collection. Once after the requirement collection is being done, we are going to start with requirement analysis. Once requirement analysis, this is a pre-work. This cannot be happened during the sprint planning. Remember that during this 2 weeks duration of sprint that I have mentioned here, during this 2 week span of time, we cannot go for requirement gathering and requirement analysis because we already gathered all the requirements. That's how we come up with 100 requirements. I hope you understand this point. In the initial step itself, we collected all the 100 requirements. And those requirements are being gathered. That means requirement gathering phase is being done in the initial step itself. And the second one is requirement analysis. Based on the analysis only, we have segregated. Okay, first module will have 10, second module will have 20, third module will have 20, like that. That means analysis is also done. Now the design phase comes into the picture whenever module or sprint gets started. Okay, so by the time when sprint gets started, design phase is going to be processed, and the design documents will be ready. That means application design document, UI design document, database design document, and UI screens as well, like how the look and feel of the applications will be, and all will be prepared. Once after this is done, now whenever you start the sprint, the actual functional development comes into the picture. So once the design phase is done, the functionality implementation can be performed within this 2 week span of time. That means all these 10 requirement functionality will be implemented within 2 weeks of time, within 2 weeks of the sprint planning time. So it might be 2 or 3. Don't fix for only 2. It might be 2 or 3. Okay, so that means the functional implementation will be completed within specific duration. Once the functionality implementation is done, once the development is done, what is the next phase? What is the next phase?
Testing.
Testing. Here, Agile model comes into the picture. You can see the difference now. So once the development is done, let me write down here. I'm just giving some short terms for each and everything. Requirement collection, requirement analysis, design. Now, sprint planning, development. I can mention here as functionality development. Now, once after the functionality development is done, the application can be delivered. The application can be delivered. Okay, the application can be delivered to the testing team and customer or stakeholder. So they are going to deliver this module 1 requirements. They are going to deliver this module 1 requirements to the testing team as well as to the customer or stakeholder at a time. At a time. So after testing team, they are not going to give it to customer. So they are going to give this particular 10 requirements to the customer as well as testing team at a time. And they'll deliver all these 10 requirements to testing team and customer at a time. And this development team will move forward to the module 2. They'll move forward, but they'll not wait for the feedback until testing team or customer or stakeholder confirms. I hope you understand. This makes a lot of difference to understand how Agile model works in the real time, how incremental model works in the real time. Okay, development cannot sit idle until they are going to get feedback from the testing team or customer here. They'll move forward and they'll start implementing the next module requirements. Okay, we will have 1 week of time. Testing team and customer will have at least 1 week of time to test the application, to test all these 10 requirements, and we will provide the feedback. If there are any critical issues, or if there are any high priority issues, or if there are any issues that has to fix on a mandatory basis, few of the developer will come back here and they're going to fix it, and they're going to provide it for retesting. So once after the retesting is done, once we receive the feedback, meanwhile, module 2 gets completed. And the module 2 requirements will be delivered to testing team and customer or stakeholder at a time. They'll not wait for feedback. Development team will not wait for the feedback, and they'll go to module 3, but still testing team and customer will test module 2 requirements only. Here the concept is very simple, guys. Development team will not sit idle at any point of time. They'll keep on working on the activities which are there in the upcoming sprints, and they are going to work on each and every activity or each and every issues what testing team and customer is going to raise. So the concept of Agile model is no one should sit idle. And second thing is, day-to-day activities has to happen, keep on happening without missing any of the requirement. So that's the whole agenda of Agile model. And third thing is dynamic changes. This is how Agile model is going to work basically. And apart from that, there are few more terminologies like sprint backlog, sprint retrospective meeting, war rooms, inspection, walkthrough, a peer review. All these activities are going to happen in Agile model. We'll come back to this point once after incremental is done. Anyone have any questions or any clarity missing? Okay, let me tell you incremental as well, so that you'll come to know how this Agile model and incremental are differentiated here. So I'll remove it here and I'll write the heading here itself after Agile. Okay, concept is almost the same. We are going to have some X number of requirements, and we are going to divide those requirements into different modules, and module 1 will have so and so requirements, and we will have sprint planning, and everything will be similar. But only thing, the difference between agile and incremental is, let me copy this one for time being. Okay, requirements will be there. Okay, here requirement collection, analysis, design, sprint planning, functionality development. So functionality development is done, and then it will forward to the testing team. Okay, it will forward to the testing team and customer or stakeholder. So they are going to get all the requirements here. They are going to get all the requirements here. Once we receive all the requirements here, once we receive all the requirements here to the testing team or customer or stakeholder, until these teams are going to provide the feedback, development team will not move to the module 2. In agile model, they will not wait for the feedback. In incremental model, they have to wait for the feedback and they have to move forward. Without receiving feedback in incremental model, no concept of developing next module requirements. Receive the complete feedback from the testing team, customer or stakeholder. If you receive the complete feedback and if you are okay with the first set of requirements, then go to second set of requirements. But in agile, no. If you deliver that module to testing team and customer or stakeholder, don't wait. You can move forward and you can start implementing the second set of requirements. Second set of requirements. So let's have some pictorial representation on these two models, and then you'll be able to understand how this works. Okay. Okay, let me go to pictorial representation. Meanwhile, anyone have any questions? You can ask me. Are you able to understand?
Yeah.
I think everyone is still on Monday vibe. There are 2 days gaps, 2 days gap in the session.
Sir,
Hmm.
in Agile model and implement model, there is only one difference, and the
Yeah.
meeting should be all will be same.
Few things will be changed, but still almost all the similarities will be there. Most of the similarities will be there.
Thanks.
Yeah, meetings and almost all the names are similar.
Sir,
Yeah,
customer or stakeholder are same, sir.
both are same.
Oh, okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Okay. I'm not going to specifically mention all the phases here. So module 1, in the sense, it is already being prepared with requirement gathering, analysis, and basic kind of design as well. It was done. So that's the reason I'm going to provide the module 1 development directly here. Are missing. Okay. Okay. So is the complete application. Okay, fine. From here, it's a combination of all the modules, right? Okay. So this is Agile model pictorial representation. So the entire application is being categorized into multiple modules. For our reference, for our example, I just mentioned module 1 and module 2. So module 1 development is going to happen, and the developed application will be delivered to the testing team as well as customer or stakeholder at the time. Okay, once we deliver to the application, development team will move forward to the module 2. They are going to implement module 2, and during this module 2 implementation, they'll be concentrating on the requirements in the module 2, and meanwhile testing team and customer or stakeholder is going to provide the feedback. Until we receive the feedback, development team will be concentrating on the module 2 only. Once we send the feedback to the development team, we will decide whether there is a pending work in the module 1 or not. So if there is a pending work based on the feedback or based on the issues or based on the critical or high priority issues, development team, few of the developers who is working in module 2 will come back and fix all the issues, and they are going to retest it. Once the retesting is done and approved that module 1 is freezed and it is completely working fine, everyone will move to the module 2 now. That means whole concept of designing Agile model is not to sit anyone in our team in an idle position. Clear? Is this pictorial representation clear, or do you need any other information, or do you have any other inputs to provide? Anyone?
Please explain one more.
Okay. Any other? I'll explain one more time. So Agile model is one of the market leading software development life cycle which is happening nowadays. That's the first point. Basically, this Agile model is preferable for the dynamic changes in the application whenever we are having different requirements which are being dealt in the application. There is no concept of having static requirements, or there is no concept of having requirements which are in stable thing. So the Agile model is meant to be for dynamic changes in the requirements. At any point of time, customer can change the requirement. At any point of time, customer will give the new enhancements or new requirements. But still, Agile model is being preferable to develop the dynamic changes in the application. So one of the main reason why Agile model is preferable is because of this reason only. Dynamic changes is being allowed in the application development. So whenever we receive all the requirements from the customer, we may receive all the requirements and we may not. We are not sure about that. But still, if we receive all the requirements from the customer, the requirements are being divided into multiple parts. So it might be a single part or it might be a multiple, depends on the number of requirements. If we are having huge amount of requirements, like 100, 200, 300, 1,000, 10,000. If we are having huge number of requirements based on the complexity in the functionality, we will divide the requirements. So once after that requirements are being divided into multiple modules or multiple parts, each module or each set of requirement are being assigned to a sprint planning. That means we have so and so number of requirements. We are going to develop all these requirements in set of requirements in so and so sprint planning. That particular sprint planning is nothing but the process of planning the activities to develop within specific time duration is nothing but sprint planning. Okay, so like that we have module 1 in place. In that module 1 we are having some x number of requirements, some n number of requirements. Those n number of requirements will be developed, and those developed requirements are being handled to testing team and customer or stakeholder at a time. Testing team and customer or stakeholder, they are going to continue with their testing activities of module 1. But during their testing activity, what development team will do? They'll do nothing, because they don't have anything to go forward, right? So that's one of the main reason in Agile model, development team will move forward to the module 2 implementation, but still testing team and customer or stakeholder will continue module 1 testing, and they'll provide the feedback, and the feedback will be passed to the development team again. If there are any critical issues, that will be fixed by the development team, and again retesting is going to happen. After retesting, the testing team and customer or stakeholder will come to the module 2. Meanwhile, module 2 implementation can be done by the development team. So again, in module 2 also, once after the implementation is done, the development team will move forward that module 2 requirements to testing team, customer or stakeholder. Again, that will be tested, will provide the feedback. Module 3, module 4, like that, n number of modules will be there, n number of requirements will be there. All these things can be tested at a module wise, and the feedback will be provided at the early stage of each and every module, and the entire feedback will be sent to the development team. If there are any issues that has to be addressed or fixed, they'll fix that, and we are going to deliver the complete application to the customer or stakeholder at a time. Even after module testing is also done, once after all the modules are being tested, we need to deliver the application to the customer, right? So we will deliver the application to the customer once after all the modules are being implemented. Understood?
So
Yes, sir.
Someone is asking question. What is that? Sorry?
Sir, what is the meaning of QA?
QA, quality assurance.
Okay. sir.
QA means quality assurance. So, okay, this one, I'll keep this point as a note point. I'll let you know QA, QC also. What is the difference between QA and QC? Quality assurance and quality control. I'll explain you after this Agile and incremental model.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Meanwhile, if you want to remember, you can remember this as a testing team only. Next, any other questions? Are we good? Can we move to incremental?
Sir?
Yeah.
Yeah, sir, what is the difference between the module and build, sir?
Module and build.
Yeah.
Two terms are irrelatable. How can you relate module and build? Module is nothing but it's a set of functionalities that we are having. That's not a technical term. Okay, let me tell you. Let me take Gmail application. Okay. In Gmail application, if you log in, we discussed some set of menus will be there, like inbox, sent items, drafts, trash, some other folders will be there, right? I hope you remember these things, junk, spam,
Yes, sir.
right? So in our development terminology, inbox is one module, sent items is one module. We can call them as a module because inbox is having some different set of functionalities like reply all, delete, view, all these things will be there internally, right? So that's one of the main reason we can call inbox as one module, sent items as one module, and drafts as one module, trash as one module, junk as one module. Sometimes based on our functionality, as I mentioned, based on the complexity in the functionality, we can we can differentiate the numbers as well. Inbox is having a lot of functionalities internally, so we can call inbox as one module. Sent items is also having a lot of functionality inside it, so we can call that as a module. Drafts, trash, junk, this will not have much functionalities internally. We can call these three things as another module. Module in the sense it's a kind of functionality. Grouping the functionalities together is nothing but a module. Build is not the same thing. Build is a technical term. After the development is done, whatever the functionalities that we are having, those requirements will be given to the testing team and customer or stakeholder. Requirements will be given to the testing team or stakeholder means they are not going to give the documents here. They are not going to give the programs here. They have to combine, they have to build all the programs and they have to make some application. That application is called UI, build I'm talking about.
Okay, sir.
Right? Simple example, if you want to purchase a product in an Amazon application, okay, what you can do, you can open your mobile app and you can select your product and you can purchase it. Instead of that, if Amazon give you some programs and ask you to purchase a product through that program, will that be possible?
No, sir.
It cannot be, because the UI will be different and the programmatic process will be different. So UI, whatever the UI the development team is going to provide with respect to the functionality, along with the functionality, that's called a build basically. If you remember, I can say in second session or in first session, I didn't remember the exact session session number. We discussed about two terms, build and release. Build is nothing but delivering the functionality or giving the functionality from the development team to testing team is nothing but build. Here what is happening, development team is giving the functionality to testing team and customer or stakeholder at a time. That means this is also called as build only. We are not releasing the application to the customer because it is in Agile model, the module 1 testing is going on. We are not releasing it. We are just giving build to the customer to validate or to receive the feedback from the customer. We are giving that requirements to the customer. That's it. Understood?
Yeah. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. And once after all the modules are being implemented, all the functionalities are being developed, then we are releasing the application to the customer. That's a release. That is called release. And one more important point, I thought you'll ask this question, but I didn't get that. Okay, let me tell that. Okay, here feedback means what are all the things included in the feedback? Here we are talking about feedback, right? What are all the things included in feedback?
The behavior of the function development activities.
No. Anyways, that's a functionality that has to happen. You cannot give the behavior how it behaves like that. That's not the feedback that we are expecting. That has to happen in the application. That's a mandatory thing. Come on,
Next
it's a
module, what will be implemented? What going to be implemented?
man. We are talking about module 1. How can we give the feedback on module 2? What we have to implement? We are talking about module 1 feedback. What is meant by feedback? It's a general term. Okay, let me know in a general terms only. Don't think about agile model or some other model. What is meant by the word called feedback?
Means how the
Review.
Okay, review, one term. Second, how the
app or application is working
with respect to
with respect to uh,
module 1 requirements or module 2 requirements?
with respect to module 1, sir.
Module 1, right? So next, any other inputs?
So working conditions are good or bad?
Okay, another one. See, think about, that's what I am saying, logical perspective. Correlate the term called feedback with agile model definition. What I said, what is the agile model specifically for? What is the important thing that we have in agile?
Interaction between
No, that's not the important thing. That's an activity.
We will receive the feedback from the customer before delivering the.
No, let me show that these points again. The same question you are repeating. I don't know your name, but the same question what I asked, you repeated the same point. I'll give you a moment. Think about it and let me.
Splitting of work.
You can see the points I am showing it on the screen. What is the important point that we have there in agile model?
We will receive the feedback from the customer before delivering the entire software. I think it was important.
Okay, there are 5 points in agile, right?
Dynamic changes or
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Logical thinking here in the sense, correlate the output of each and every model that we are discussing with the definition or the important advantage that we have explained, so that you will come to know what is going to happen here. So moving back to the pictorial representation, feedback is nothing but there are 2 points. 2 points you guys said, like one is review and another one is we are going to collect the feedback on how the application functionality is working with respect to the module 1 requirements that we have given. Feedback includes not only the functionality that is being delivered in module 1. Feedback includes suggestions, issues, changes, enhancements, change requests, whatever the changes that might be from the customer or stakeholder point of view, they can provide everything in the feedback. Feedback is simply nothing but it's a review. Very familiar. You are going to listen this word. If you attend the interviews, any of the interviews, HR will get back to you. What is that means? Interviewer will provide the feedback to the HR and HR will get back to you with that feedback. I hope you understand this point now. They can provide the suggestions, they can provide the changes, they can provide the issues, they can provide everything in that feedback. Likewise, once after module 1 is being developed and and given that bill to testing team and customer or stakeholder, the feedback includes issues, whatever the issues that we have in module 1. That feedback includes suggestions. Okay, this can be represented like this. They can give the feedback like that, suggestions also. And third one, dynamic changes in the requirements. Okay, development team has implemented this requirement like this. I do not want to see this one. I want to change this requirement to so and so. Even the dynamic changes are also possible in feedback. Did you relate this point to Agile methodology process? Understood the point? Dynamic changes in the sense, even after customer review that functionality, based on the feedback also we will receive dynamic changes in the application. Understood? Any questions? I'm waiting for your feedback, guys. No one is responding. Are you able to understand?
Sir, I
Still
have a
have any?
question.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So once the module is sent to the testing team or to the customer stakeholders,
Okay.
meanwhile, if the development team finds something, they have to modify that. Do
Yeah.
they can modify the module, or they have to wait for the feedback until they get
They can
from
modify.
the.
They can modify the module.
And meanwhile, they can modify the module and they can
Module.
send it again to them, right?
Yes, yes, yes. If they are modifying the module, they have to send notification to the testing team and customer or stakeholder saying, we found these are the issues that we are having. We are modifying the module, or we are rewriting the programs, and we will get back to you once these are being implemented.
Okay.
Or else they'll send out a notification email saying that these are the known issues which are already there in the application. We will take up these issues along with the feedback.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Still any? No? Are we good? Are you able to understand what is meant by feedback and all now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let's talk about the incremental model. Let's talk about the incremental model. The process is almost the same. We will have the application, we will have the module 1, and we will have the module 2, and everything is similar. There is no issue with that. But one change that we need to have here is, in incremental model, the module 1, once after we receive the feedback from the customer, let me change this picture only. I'm not going to redesign everything here. Okay. So here module 1 will be developed, and that will be sent to testing team, and customer or stakeholder receive the feedback and send it to development team, again test it, and again everything. Then here If the feedback is 100% satisfied from module 1, then only go for module 2. So we are idle, we will move to module 2 and we will start implementing there. And if you have any feedback, no concept of going to module 2 until module 1 is completely fixed. Okay. Incremental model, the name itself is indicating incremental, slowly increasing. Okay, module 1, then increase to module 2. Module 1 is completely freezed, receive the feedback, 100% satisfied, then increase the module to module 2. Module 2, develop, give it for testing and customer or stakeholder, get the feedback, complete the module 2, and 100% satisfaction we received, go for module 3, module 4, module 5, module n. Likewise, even though development team is having no work, even though they are idle and they are not doing any work, they have to sit and they have to get the complete feedback from the customer or stakeholder and customer or stakeholder and testing team. Then only they have to move forward to the next module. This is a simple difference between incremental and agile. Dynamic changes will be there, sprint planning will be there, everything will be there. Only difference is in agile model, no one will be idle and they'll move forward in developing all the requirements and fixing all the issues. In incremental model, no concept of moving forward without finalizing the current module. Understood? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Still anyone have any questions? Yeah, Jyoti, you raised a hand.
Yes, I just wanted to confirm the two candidates' names. Devi Divya. Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible, Jyoti.
Yeah, Devi Divya and Pravalika Ejgiri. Can you please tell me your names? Or by chance, have you renamed your names with us?
Probably.
Anyone? I think Pravalika is available. Devi Divya. Both are on. They have unmuted their mics and.
Yeah. Yeah, Devi Divya, can you please tell me who is your lead? And Pravalika Ejgiri, you too?
I let you know that my lead. Hello.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, my lead leading Alekya Chaudhary.
Alekya Chaudhary.
Yeah.
You are Pravalika, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. And for Devi?
My name is Devi Divya.
Yeah. And your lead?
Yearly.
Lead. I mean, is it Rudra or the one who joined you for this class?
I mean, I got recommended by Surya sir, ma'am.
Surya sir. Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Tesha.
Devi, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else, Jyoti?
Nothing. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. Okay. So back to our concept again. So I'm repeating the final statement on agile and incremental again, and I'll move forward with the other definitions. Agile model is meant for the dynamic changes in the requirements where the dynamic changes can be implemented on the spot itself. So as we have mentioned few more points related to agile here, customer interaction will be there in all the phases and dynamic changes are acceptable, can deliver this application or software in fast manner because we are we are delivering the application in a module wise, and we are getting feedback from the customer and customer or QA team, and we will receive the feedback from the customer before delivering the entire application. Yeah, on module basis, we are receiving the feedback. It might be changes, it might be issues, it might be anything. It might be suggestions, enhancements, requests, anything. We are going to get it in Agile model. The same thing is going to happen in incremental as well, but only difference between incremental and Agile is, in Agile, no one is going to sit idle and no one is going to blank their time, and they'll move forward in developing all the modules and all the requirements. They'll not wait for the feedback. They'll get the feedback and they're going to fix it at the end of the module or at the end of the application. But in incremental, once we receive feedback on the entire module, then only we'll move forward to the next module and we are going to develop the requirements. So this is somehow we are going to implement the application in a module wise. But to implement these modules, we are having sprint planning. We already defined what is meant by sprint planning. What is meant by sprint planning? Anyone?
The process of planning activity which can be performed within specific time
duration. Yes. So we will have some specific duration, which might be 2 weeks or 3 weeks. It is not more than 3 weeks, actually saying in the real time environment. So 2 weeks or 3 weeks, we will have the time. This time is nothing but the sprint planning time. But apart from sprint planning, we have few more things that we need to discuss. What are those? Sprint backlog, sprint retrospective, war room, walkthrough, inspection, peer review, scrum meeting, or daily stand-up meeting. So let us discuss about these terms, and then we'll see if we have any few other terminologies left in Agile or incremental model. Sprint backlog. What is meant by sprint backlog? You know what is meant by backlog, right? So usually whenever we are left over with the subjects in BE or BTech, we usually say we have 5 backlogs, we have 2 backlogs, we have 3 backlogs. What is mean by that backlog? There is there is something which is pending and which is not being completed on time. So that means during the sprint planning, we have given 10 activities. We have given 10 requirements. But somehow it might be because of leave plan, or it might be because of some other dependencies, it might be because of the complexity, whatever the reason might be, we are not able to complete all the 10 requirements in the sprint, in the given sprint. We are left over with 2. Let's say for example 8 are completed, 2 are pending. Those 2 are coming under sprint backlog. Those 2 comes under sprint backlog. Sprint backlog means which is pending and which is not being completed on the given duration, which is not being completed in the given duration. That's called sprint backlog. What is meant by sprint retrospective? Retrospective means which is being delivered to the customer, and customer found few issues which are not there in our QA environment. Let's say I am testing the application in the testing environment, and the customer is testing it in the live environment, end user environment. So the issue is there in the end user perspective, but issue is not there in our local testing environment. That means there will be multiple environments in the real time. One is like development environment, staging or QA environment, UAT environment, production environment. I hope you guys are aware of these 4 environments. If not, let me tell you these things as well. Development environment, staging or QA environment, UAT, staging or QA or testing environment, I can mention. Everyone will be able to understand. User acceptance testing, and then production or end user or live. There are 4 environments which are available. 4 environments means 4 application URLs here. Environment means don't think that there is a huge space or something like that. Environments here in the term called 4 applications. 4 applications. One is development environment, which is being used by the development team for their development purpose. Once they have designed the program, they are going to validate whether the program is working or not. For that purpose, they are going to have one development URL. Second one is staging or QA or testing URL. Once after the development is done, the application, the build will be moved to the testing team. That application URL will be staging or QA or testing. So here we are going to test the application. And UAT, user acceptance testing. Before delivering the application to the customer, we will have some reviews with the customer. For review purpose, we will have an environment called user acceptance testing environment. And production or end user or live environment. So that means live application is being used by the public or the customer or the end users. Okay, that's a live environment. As a QA or as a testing team, we should never think about this production or live environment. You are not authorized person to use this one, because the live data will be there. You cannot use this application. You will have at least some authorization to use this UAT environment, because only customer review is going to happen here. So that's one of the main reason you have to, you can have some authorization with UAT, and you are complete authorized person to work on staging or QA or testing environment. You can access anytime, anything here. You can add any kind of data. Development environment, you should not do testing in development environment. If you want to test the application in development environment, you have to get approvals from your manager and then you have to test it. These are the 4 principles that you have to follow for all the 4 environments. Likewise, I have tested the application in staging or QA or testing environment, and I have tested the application same functionality in UAT environment. I don't have any issues. But whenever we send the application for customer environment, whenever we deliver the application to production or end user or live environment, we have some issues. In order to analyze those issues, what are the root cause of that particular issue? In order to analyze why we are having this issue only in production environment, but not in staging or QA or testing environment, that's called sprint retrospective. The meeting which is going to happen to discuss why we have issues in live environment, why we have issues in production, but not in staging or QA testing environment. That's one of the main reason for sprint retrospective meeting. Okay, next one is war room. War room, what is meant by war room? War room means there is a high priority critical, there is a critical high priority issue. That means I'm not when we can say that this is a critical priority? Whenever the application is not responding, whenever I'm not able to test any of the functionality in the application, right? That's called critical priority. That's called critical priority. So war room is nothing but whenever you are having critical issues in the live environment and where user is not able to move forward to use the application, then war rooms will be conducted. War rooms will be conducted in between development team, project management team, customer, project coordinator team. Everyone is going to include here, and the issues are going to fix on the spot. We will not have time. We have to fix it immediately and we have to deliver the customer immediately, because we are having critical issue and we are not able to move forward because of that issue. That's called war room. War room is nothing but it's a kind of meeting where all the project team is going to involve to fix a critical issue and deliver it to the customer immediately. Right? Any questions on these definitions? Sprint planning, sprint backlog, sprint retrospective, and war room. Let me repeat the point. Sprint planning, the process of planning activity which can be performed with specific duration, is nothing but sprint planning. Sprint backlog, whenever there are pending tasks, those pending tasks are not being done as part of the planning, so then the pending tasks will be considered as a backlog. Okay, then the pending tasks will be considered as a backlog. Sprint retrospective, the meeting which can be happened to discuss about the issues which are there in production or end user or live environment and not there in testing or UAT environment. And number 4, war room. It's a kind of meeting where all the project team is going to involve to discuss about the critical issue. That critical issue might be the showstopper or a blocker where the user will not be able to move forward to test the application, to access the application. That's called war room. Walkthrough, inspection, peer review. This is your assignment for tomorrow. Get the information on walkthrough, inspection, and peer review. Today I'll continue with scrum meeting or daily stand-up meeting. What is meant by scrum meeting or daily stand-up meeting? Scrum in the sense, you people who are involved in that particular project or involved in that particular SDLC model, you guys are nothing but scrum team. Not only QA team or testing team, everyone will be called as a scrum. Everyone will be included in that scrum meeting. Scrum is nothing but it's a group of people who are involved in that particular project. Okay, scrum meeting, that means you all will have one meeting, that is called scrum meeting or daily stand-up meeting. So daily a meeting will be there, which is called daily stand-up meeting. What is the purpose of having this meeting? This scrum meeting or a daily stand-up meeting is meant to be, every individual has to explain the status of work what they have been assigned. So let's say in module 1 we have been assigned with 10 requirements. That means there are 5 people in the team. All these 5 together called as a scrum team. Each person is having 2 requirements to implement or to test it. So that means what is the status of 2 requirements? What you have done yesterday, what you are going to done today, and what is your plan for tomorrow. So every day you have to explain the same thing. So let's say, for example, today I have attended the meeting and I'm going to tell on Friday I have performed so and so activity. So based on this activity, I have completed that particular requirement implementation. Today I'm going to start with a new requirement, and this will be done by end of the day, or this can be done by tomorrow end of the day. So tomorrow also I'm going to continue on the same task. Or else on Friday I have worked on so and so task, but somehow I have not been concluded here. I'm facing so and so issue. Today I'll be working on that issue and I'll be continuing in the same task today and tomorrow also. Tomorrow when you attend the meeting, and you have to explain the status what you have committed for today. Right? So daily stand-up meeting or scrum meeting is nothing but the meeting which is going to happen for that particular scrum team, which will deal about the activities what you have performed yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Right? Any questions? Is it clear?
Clear, sir.
Yes, sir.
Clear.
Okay. Now, one of the important thing that you have to revise from your end is what we have discussed today, agile and incremental. Daily revise this concept for next 1 week, because you have to remember these 2 things on a priority basis. Rest of the 2 modules, 2 models, fish model and V model, that might be not that much priority, but still you'll have the concepts which I'm going to explain in tomorrow's session. But agile and incremental, waterfall, these 3 things you are going to listen on your daily life when you are working in the real time. So make sure you are going to repeat these concepts on a mandatory basis. Okay. Today I'll be sharing the documents. Everything got updated yesterday. It was completed. So today I'll be sharing those documents to you. In that document, we'll have pictorial representations, and we are going to have the concepts which are explained it in detail. So go through those documents, go through that material, manual testing material, and if you have any questions on the discussed concepts till now, you can raise your hands and you can ask me those questions in tomorrow's session. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Over to you, Jyoti. Do you have anything else to talk to the team? Are you there, Jyoti? Jyoti K.
Yes, nothing. Thank you.
Nothing, right? Okay, fine. I'm going to wind up this session for the day. So I'll be sharing those documents to you or to Teja. Okay, let me contact them and they'll get back to you, Jyoti.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks, guys. Bye. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bye, sir.
Bye, bye, bye.
Thank you, sir.